Okay.
So, a little quick disclaimer, my video will be in black and white due to the fact that I want it to be a little bit more of a documentary kind of feel, a little more dramatic. And I failed to mention that we have one more guest speaker that is going to be filmed, and I hope you guys enjoy. So over the course of this video, you will see me giving interviews to my family, and I will be getting interviewed as well. In this presentation, you will hear, see, and learn the importance of spreading awareness. Okay, so today we're going to be conducting our first interview with my first guest. If you could please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Helga, also known as Molly. I'm the mother of 3 children, one which has been diagnosed with autism.
Okay, so to elaborate on this, I'm just going to be asking you a bunch of questions, and please just answer with your heart.
Sure.
Okay, so my first question is, how did you know about autism and the term special needs?
Well, to begin with, I wasn't aware of autism until my daughter was diagnosed, and I then learned that autism, it affects children in different ways. However, with Jolie, she's nonverbal, so I started doing research, started joining parent groups, and that's how I've become aware. So Jolie was about 2 years old, and I took her to the pediatrician because she wasn't responding to her name, she wasn't speaking. And once I took her in, he referred her to what's called the regional center. She was officially diagnosed there with autism, and it was pretty hard, if not the hardest that I've actually experienced as a parent, because I didn't know what to expect. Like I mentioned before, I had no idea what autism meant.
Within being a parent of a kid with autism now, do you think your life switched gears from then?
Almost definitely.
Okay, so today we're going to be interviewing our second guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Nathan. I'm an 11th grader at Larchmont Charter School. I am the second oldest of 6 siblings, 2 of which have special needs.
All right. Stop. Thank you. Okay, so please just tell me your experiences in being a sibling of 2 siblings with special needs.
You know, I overheard a bunch of kids from, I guess, the older grade talking about Jolie. And they're like, what even is that? What is she? And I can't get mad at them because they're children and there's no other way to, like, express themselves aside from, you know, the basic words that everyone knows. So it's hard because you can't really say much to children. So with hearing all of that, you just kind of have to let it slide off of you. You have to have really thick skin. And I had children with special needs in my class. I didn't understand. Why was this one never talking? Why did this one always have tantrums in class?
Right.
And it kind of just all clicked with me after I found out about my little sister. Everyone else in school is like, don't talk to that kid, he's weird. Don't talk to this girl, she's picking her nose, she doesn't talk. So it's like, it's hard to try to accept people when all the odds are against them, including kids their own age.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
But for the most part, you do often hear, you know, loose, because the terms like sped and, I'm not going to go into more words, but basically, all words like that are used often in school as like a loose term. Everyone knows it's an insult, but you don't know the background knowledge
What
behind
are some words of advice for other siblings that have other siblings with special needs?
In terms of advice I'd give other siblings is probably if you hear someone saying anything, you need to step up and advocate for them. Because if no one really knows, you know, about autism or anything along the lines of autism, who else is going to teach them? Who will advocate for children with special needs aside from, of course, you? You know how to explain it.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Okay, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Jasmine Castañeda presenting to you today my senior project in interview form. So my brother Nathan is going to be asking me questions behind the camera, and I'll be answering, giving feedback, and
Okay, so what's your research question?
my research question is, why aren't children with special needs, specifically autism, getting their needs met?
Okay, why did you choose this topic?
So I am the oldest of 6 kids, 3 of which have special needs, which kind of inclined me to learn how to be an advocate, and I've learned how to kind of spread awareness on my own, but I want to work on doing that a little bit more.
Okay, and can you tell me about your findings in your literature review?
Okay, so in my literature review, I have done research on cases and what has happened when our community has been ill-informed about kids with special needs. And I found devastating cases in which kids have gotten killed, harshly treated, and also injured in occasions. So I have interviewed a bunch of people, including Antoinette Lemus from a regional center. She's a therapist. Yvette Garcia, which is a teacher for kids with special needs, and Daisy Valdez, an occupational therapist. They have all said there isn't enough awareness being spread throughout schools. So many special needs children aren't getting their needs met, basically.
Okay, and can you give me a brief summary of your survey?
Okay, so my target population was the students of Larchmont Charter. And the questions I have asked was, do you know what autism is? Have you met anyone with autism, and what does the word SPED mean to you? I have also taken a survey that revealed actually that 50% of participants have used the word SPED to insult someone.
What did you see in the field observation?
So when doing the field observation, it took place in Holding Hands Regional Center. And I observed a therapy meeting within parents. So their kids were put to the side, ready to play in this small play room, and parents would go around telling their stories, telling us how to cope, and I was lucky enough to sit in and hear their stories. Now, through the whole thing, most of the time, the parents of the kids are talking about what to do in a situation when their children are getting bullied. And one mother stood out to me particularly because instead of taking the angry route or kind of jumping to conclusions on what to do, she actually shared a story about Rosa's Law, and it was something that I wasn't really familiar with. But basically, there's this little girl who's getting bullied at school, and she had Down syndrome, and her parents sought to make it a law to change what she had, which at the time was mental retardation, to an intellectual ability, and I thought that was really inspiring. So I did my digging, and so did the mom, and she told her daughter to quote this to her bully, which came from Rosa's brother. And it says, "What you call people is how you treat them. If we change the words, maybe it will be the start of a new attitude toward people with disabilities." So I actually included that in my poster because I thought it made sense. It's like kind of like a staple to what I'm trying to say to the people that are reading my poster or reposting it. And I also found out that some respondents, when being asked what the term special needs means to them, is, and I quote, "Special needs means that you are in need of special things." So that right there gave me the perfect feedback and the perfect things I needed to order in order to construct an informational way to spread awareness and what topics to cover. With that being said, I constructed an infographic poster, and I will insert videos of me posting them up around my community and trying to spread awareness, and I've also kind of let it reach social media. So I kind of sent it and posted it on my social media, and it just went around and started trending, which I'm very excited about. I interviewed Miss Garcia, which was very kind to me, and I took place in her office at Vaughn Middle School. A little bit of background about her: she has a master's in administration, a BA in special education, and a teaching credential. So
what I have learned is that the hardest part in obtaining the proper needs for children with special needs is knowing their diagnosis and kind of figuring out what to do before it's too late. So oftentimes she shared with me that families that have children with special needs have no idea that their children even had ADD, autism, ADHD, etc. until they were assessed upon teacher recommendation. With that said, adding on, Ms. Garcia also concluded the interview with revealing to me the more understanding that the public have about special needs community, the easier to those who live in this society with disabilities can manage better in everyday life and get the appropriate needs that they need and the appropriate awareness that they also need and deserve. So what I've learned throughout this whole thing was that my experiences are totally different from someone else's experiences that have siblings without special needs. I've also learned that it's not easy trying to be the one to advocate for others because, you know, during this whole thing, you have to ask questions that are uncomfortable. You have to ask questions that you won't get a clear answer to. And when I conducted my research and my survey to others, I had to kind of brush it off because I saw some comments and some things that I didn't really like hearing. And I think throughout this whole thing, I kind of made this based on my sister Jolie because it's been quite the learning experience with her, and I just want other people to kind of get some insight and be more comfortable with maybe showing their stories or relating and advocating for other people as I do. So I think it's very important to spread advocacy, and I found that if you really put your words, your time, and your energy out there to making something great, it will show. And thank you.
So here are some photos of me posting my poster in different locations around my neighborhood, and some screenshots available that people were kind enough to send to me after they had reposted my poster on social media.
Hello, what's your name?
I drew
What is your name?
Joey.
Jolie?
I am
Oh, how old are you?
9.
You're 9.
And I also want to say a quick thank you to everyone who was watching my video. I hope all is well with everyone, and I hope you guys enjoyed my version of a senior project / documentary.